Welcome. In this video, I'll show you some examples of different types of ratios. If you have 6 dogs and 8 cats in the pet shop, the ratio of dogs to cats is written as 6:8. However, to divide 6 as well as 8 to give ratio of 3:4 in its simplest form, which means there are 4 cats to every 3 dogs. This is an example of part-to-part ratio, as it compares 3 parts dogs to 4 parts of cat. Similarly, ratio of cats to dog is now 8:6, and in its simplest form, it is 4:3, and so it's also an example of part-to-part ratio. However, if we compare the ratio of number of cats to total animals, it would be 8:14. Since there are 8 cats plus 6 dogs, which is total of 14 animals altogether. And this can be divided by 2 to give you ratio in its simplest form as 4:7. This is an example of part to total ratio, as you are comparing cats with total animal. Similarly, ratio of dogs to total number of animal is also part to total ratio. Sometimes it's necessary to write ratios in unit forms. These are the ratios of the form 1:n or n:1, where one of the term is always 1 and the other term is always any number n. Unit ratios makes comparison between two different ratios much more easier. For example, let's say in school A, ratio of boys to girls is 2:4, and in school B, the ratio of boys to girls is 3:9. It's not possible to compare these two ratios in this form as they are comparing different amounts. However, we can compare them if we simplify them to unit ratios, as 2:4 in its simplest form is 1:2, and 3:9 in its simplest form is 1:3. Therefore, in school A, there are 2 girls to every boy. And in school B, there are 3 girls to every boy. Hence, we can say that proportion of girls in school B is higher than the proportion of girls in school A. As you can see, writing it in unit form makes comparisons of ratio much easier. In the next example, we are going to look at how we can express ratios in unit forms, since it's of most value to us when making comparisons like this. In order to express 3:6 in the form 1:n, we need to simply divide the left number by 3 and also divide the right number by 3. To give 1:2, it's now in the form 1:n. If we want to write this in the form n:1, then we have to divide both sides by 6. 3 cancels 3 down to 1 and 3 cancels 6 down to 2 on the left hand side of the ratio, and 6 divides 6 to give 1 on the right hand side of the ratio. Hence the ratio is half to 1 and it's in the form n:1. Unit ratios are also useful in solving everyday problem like this one. Tim makes smoothies by mixing 1.5 liters of strawberry juice with 500 milliliters of yogurt. How much juice does he use for every milliliters of yogurt? If he uses 2 liters of yogurt, how much juice should he use? So, to put this in perspective, the ratio of yogurt to juice is 500 ml to 1.5 liters. Since 1 liter is equivalent to 1000 milliliters, it is equivalent to 500 milliliters to 1500 milliliter. Since we want to now find out the amount of juice for every milliliters of yogurt, we need to express this amount as unit ratio 1:n form. We want to convert the yogurt ratio to 1, as the question says, to find the juice for every milliliters of yogurt. Every milliliters implies 1 milliliter. Always read the question very carefully. So divide both sides by 500. The ratio is now 1:3 and it is in the form 1:n. Which means for every 1 portion of yogurt, Tim needs 3 portions of juice to make his smoothie. So if he has 1 milliliters of yogurt, we need 3 milliliters of juice to make smoothies. And if 1 liter of yogurt is used, then we need 3 liters of juice, and so on. The second part of the questions asks if he uses 2 liters of yogurt, how much juice should he be using? Since our ratio from yogurt to juice is 1:3, we need to multiply the ratio by 2 to give 2:6. Which means Tim needs 6 liters of juice if he uses 2 liters of yogurt in his smoothie. If you find this video useful for you, please click like. If you think someone else can benefit from it, please share. And if you want to hear from me again, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Be sure to try the exercises to test your knowledge. I'll see you in the next part.